Hi book lovers, it's Jenny at Julia Baby Jen, and this is my May TBR. Okay, so this TBR is very different than what I've done in the past. I've really been up in the air on books I want to read. Like, I got a whole bunch in the library that I've already returned because I kind of changed my mind that I didn't want to read them right now. So I didn't really make a big TBR this month. There are a few that I picked that I really want to read. And so those I will show you, but I'm really going to leave this month kind of up in the air as to what I want to read. I don't know why I'm just being a very mood reader right now, which I'm not always that way. I like to usually plan what I'm reading, and lately that hasn't been working so well for me. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick a couple books, and then the rest I'm going to leave up to chance. I think I'm going to do some try a chapter tags again because I really loved doing that. That was so much fun. So I might do a few of those too. So first off, I really want to reread Passenger and then move on to Wayfarer. So I really want to read the Passenger duology in May. I want to get this series finished, and I'm really in the mood to read like a time travel adventure type thing. So I loved the first book, so I'm excited to move on to Wayfarer, and yeah, so that is definitely on my TBR. And then I wanted to do the Dorothy Must Die series. So I have the books I don't own from the library, and then there's a couple more like story compilations that I think I might pick up from the bookstore. So the other compilations that I don't own, I think I might pick up at the bookstore, but I don't know how much of the series I'm actually going to read in May, but I wanted to reread. I've read Dorothy Must Die, which is the first book, and I've read The Wicked Will Rise, which is the second book, and I've read The Yellow Brick War, which is the third book, which I wasn't real fond of, and I'm honestly not sure if I'm going to reread the Yellow Brick War book. If I can speed through it quickly. It's a quick one, so maybe. And then I have Dorothy Must Die Stories Volume 1, which I got, and it is signed from the author. So is Dorothy Must Die, the first book I have. So I want to read this, and then I might read the other compilations. But the end of it, I would read the final book, The End of Oz, just to finish up this series. I'm kind of have a, I don't know, I don't really like Yellow Brick War, but I really did like the first two books quite a bit. There's things I don't like about this series. It's not like the best series I've ever read by any means, but I think it's interesting, and I like Oz, and I want to see how this whole thing wraps up. So I really want to reread everything so I'm fresh on it, and so I don't know if I'll get all this done in May, but I'd like to get a good jump on this series in May. And then I wanted to read The Husband's Secret by Laine Moriarty, if I said that right. This would be for my 4 Seasons Spring Challenge. I need to read this book. So yeah, this is on the TBR. Another book for my 4 Seasons Challenge I need to read is Middlemarch by George Eliot. So I'm hoping to read this in May as well. And that will finish my spring challenge. I want to get it done in May, so in June I can move on to the summer books. So yeah, this is on there too. I forgot about this. So I'll have this in my May TBR. And then I have the book that everybody picked for me to read for the month, and that is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. So this is on my TBR. This is the book that I had you guys vote on, and it won with the most votes. So I'm excited to read this. This is a fantasy about witches, and it's supposed to focus really heavily on friendship. So I'm excited for this. That's really all I have planned for May, somewhat planned for May so far. There's a lot of books that I want to read. I'll see if I get to them or not. But that's pretty much it, except I'm going to pick 3 books out of my TBR jar. So we'll move on to this portion of the video where I pick my 3 books. I am going to do this for May. I'm going to do it all year. I made a commitment. Ooh, yay! The first book I picked is Ashendon, so I'll go grab that off the shelf. Ooh, yay! I picked Falling Kingdoms for my second book. And the third one, I get a hold of one here. The Edge of the Water. I wanted to continue with this series, so that's good. So I'm going to go grab those 3 books. I have Ashendon by Elizabeth Wilhide. This is a adult historical fiction book. It's supposed to be somewhat like Downton Abbey. It's what I've heard it compared to. So I picked this up at the Dollar Tree, and I'm excited to read this. So yeah, I'm really excited I got this one pulled out of my jar for the month. Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. I'm really excited to start this fantasy. I've heard mixed things on it, but I'm hoping that I'll really like it. And The Edge of the Water by Elizabeth George. I read the first book, The Edge of Nowhere, already. This is kind of a contemporary slash mystery story, suspense series about this girl who is hiding from her mother's, well, basically, I think her stepfather. I don't think they got married, but it was her mother's fiance. She has the ability to read people's thoughts, and he is a crook, and she figured out that he was a murderer, and so he's chasing her and her mother. Her mother dropped her off at this island off of Washington State, this small island, and she was supposed to hide out at a friend's house, and this friend died of a heart attack when she got there. So she's like, no one knows who she is, and she's trying to hide and make sure no one knows who she is. And meanwhile, there's other things, weird things going on this island as well. So the first book was really interesting, and I'm excited to continue with this series. So yeah. So that is my May TBR. Part of it anyway. I'll read way more books than that, I hope, but that'll get me started. Leave me comments below on what you would like to read in May, or what you're planning to read in May, or if you want to talk about any of these books. I hope everyone has a good day. I will talk to you